DreAllDay.com.
You are now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one masterclass, this show right here that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is, what are you allowing yourself to tolerate? What are you accepting, allowing, and tolerating in your life that may be exorbitant in the way of you getting to where you actually want to be? Now, back in masterclass number 1253, I talked about how what you actually need in life might be less of what you're doing right now, less of what you're accepting, as opposed to what many people think of when they're trying to advance and move forward and hustle and gain and motivate themselves. Usually we look for more, but the answer may be the exact opposite. Yeah, I told you the opportunities and the opposites back in masterclass number 1025. But someone recently told me in a business conversation that the $100 million CEO, person running a company that does $100 million a year in revenue, they tolerate fewer things than what the $10 million CEO allows. And the $10 million CEO tolerates fewer and less than what the $1 million CEO tolerates. The whole concept being, to move up to higher levels is actually not about doing and accepting and taking on more. It's about doing, accepting, and taking on less. Each of us on an individual basis, and maybe even an entire entity, an entire organization, a whole company. So today's conversation is about what you are choosing to tolerate in your business, in your life, in your sport, in your relationships, in your whatever, and how tolerating less is actually the path that you need to follow in order to advance. Because again, as I told you, 1025, masterclass 1025, the opportunity is in the opposites. Point number one, the topic once again is, what are you allowing yourself to tolerate? Point number one, when it comes to activity, the best business creators that we have known of, or the people who have become the most successful in creating their business. And there are plenty of people that you can name. And if I name a few people off the top, you can think of Kim Kardashian. She has been a great creator of content, or a great creator of a lifestyle, a way of being, or a certain personality, or a certain persona, I think, that has been mimicked and copied by many people many times over. So I guess we would have to say that's successful simply because of the sheer amount of imitators that she's created. Drake, the musician, Stephen King, the author. These people set themselves up to do only what they're great at. You know, do you think Stephen King is inside of some warehouse bounding his paperback books to make sure that the book actually stays together when people open it and start reading it? I don't think Stephen King does that. Do you think he is designing the artwork for the covers of his book? I don't think he does that either. Do you think he is inside the bookstore actually taking the money from customers when they come and buy the book? I don't think Stephen King does that. At least the last I checked, I never seen him doing that. I don't think Kim Kardashian does the editing for her own photos. I bet she has a person whose very job is to go through the photos, edit the best ones, send them to her, and then she can pick the one that she likes, pick a little caption, and then get it posted. I don't think she covers that. I don't think she does that herself. Do you think Drake, the musician, does he produce the songs that he creates? I don't think so. Does he press them up on, I guess we don't use CDs anymore, but if Drake puts out a CD, I don't think he's the one that's pressing it up onto the CD and putting it inside the jewel case to go and sell it. I don't think he's the one designing the posters for that go on the electrical poles, the utility poles on the way to the concert when he's doing a show in somebody's town. I don't think he's the one who's designing the microphones that he raps on. He sets himself up to do only what he needs to do, which is get on the microphone and create his art. And it's the same thing with Kim, same thing with Stephen King, same thing with fill in the blank, any creator you know, or any person who has just become successful at what they do. I'm just using creators as an example, but it doesn't have to be a creator. Any person who is doing successfully in their business and you see them gradually improving at what they do in their business, what they do is slowly set themselves up, or quickly set themselves up, to tolerate fewer things that they have to do themselves, fewer things that they personally have to take on. Doesn't mean that they do less in general. Maybe they do more, but they're able to do more through other people. They put other people in place. Okay, so Drake says, I need somebody who can do promotion for me. So now there's another thing Drake is doing. The whole entity of Drake Incorporated now is doing more promotion than before. It doesn't mean Drake himself is doing it. It means he has a promotions team. Maybe there's one person doing it. Maybe there's some type of system that is doing it. If Kim Kardashian puts more photos out, doesn't mean that she necessarily did more editing last night. What it means is maybe she told her editor, hey, I need you to do more than me. I need you to do this double time, or maybe go get another editor to help you out and train them how to do what you do so we can put more photos out. Stephen King puts out more books. Well, yeah, he probably has to do more writing, or if he sells more books, doesn't mean that he's in a bookstore hustling harder to get people to buy. It just means he's maybe turned up his marketing machine or whatever it is that he's going on. He has going on, that is. The best producers, when it comes to their activity, is not that they just do more forever, because eventually we all going to reach a limit of how much energy, time, and talent we have. But the best producers set themselves up to do only the things that they're great at, and then they put mechanisms and systems and people, or some combination of the above, in place to help them do what they're great at. They're not doing everything, so to speak, by themselves, definitely not. And they do not tolerate having to do everything by themselves, because again, we will all run out of time, or run out of talent, or run out of energy, or just run out of space, period, if we try to do everything on our own. It's impossible for any one of us to do that. Because none of us is great at everything. Drake is not great at producing beats. Kim is probably not a great photographer, and Stephen King may not even be that great at marketing, but he's a hell of a writer. Kim's a hell of a model, I guess we would call her. That'd be a good category, model. Drake is a great musician. So they focus on doing what they do great, and then they put other things around them, or get someone who can put other things around them to help them get everything in order. That is what they do, and this is the exact same thing that you can do yourself. Even if you don't want to do it on the scale at which those examples are doing it, or anyone else that you can think of as an example, you can still do it yourself. And you need to do this yourself if you want to get the maximum return on investment out of your talent, and out of your skills, and out of what you do best. Knowing what you do best, if you know what that is, you know anything else that you're doing, you're investing your resources and doing anything other than the things that you do best. What are you doing? You're taking away from your best skill. You're taking away from your best talent. You're taking away from serving the people that you serve with what you do best. I guarantee people don't buy a Stephen King book because of the cover design. All right, people don't listen to a Drake record because of the quality of the microphone. People want to hear Drake make music. They want to read Stephen King writing what he writes. So they want to see Kim taking pictures and looking good, or whatever it is that people sign up for her for. You understand what I'm saying though? Focus your energies at their strongest point. And my favorite book, The 48 Laws of Power, chapter number 25, is concentrating your forces. What does that mean? It means taking your energies, your resources, your 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, focus, and focusing them at their strongest point. What is your strongest point? That's a question that you should answer. You should have an answer already. Your strongest point, ladies and gentlemen, is not everything. Your strongest point in life is not doing everything. In your business, it is not everything. In whatever it is you're good at, your strongest point is not everything. I had an entrepreneur client once, and I was talking to him he was talking to me about how he felt overwhelmed in his business. He had a lot going on in his business. And I said, okay, do you have a team? Do you have a staff? He said, yes, I do have a team. I have a staff, and I'm willing to bring more people on. And I said, okay, so if you limited yourself, CEO, to doing only one job in the company, what would you do? What's the thing that you do best? Where are you at your highest level of output and highest value to the company in your personal work when you show up to work every single day? And the guy's response, I remember he had his wife with him, and he said, man, my best thing is everything, Dre. I like doing everything. And we're sitting there, we're in person talking. This is it. I remember this is in South Beach. So he starts talking and he starts getting all excited. Man, I like doing everything, man. I like doing designing things over here. I like doing the payroll over here. I like doing the finance part over here. I like doing the management of this stuff over here. He starts saying all these things. And I said to him, okay, so if you had enough staff to take care of every single job that you just named and every other job that's being done in the company, and you only had to do one job, you telling me that you would be the payroll person? And he and his wife both started laughing at the incredulity of the question, because he knew it sounded ridiculous when he said he loves doing payroll. Like, yeah, I know you love doing payroll, but you don't love it that much because you wouldn't do it if that was your only job. Or you wouldn't have a company if that was your skill. If your skill was payroll, you wouldn't have a company that does what your company does. And his company was not a payroll company. You understand what I'm saying? His thing was his main thing, his main skill, the reason what his business was built around. So what is your strongest point? You need to have an answer to that question, and you should be focused on that. You are more likely to become great via maximizing your strongest point than on trying to improve the things that you are weak at. Find something, entities, people, systems, whatever else you can put in place. I don't know what else there are. People or systems that can replace you in working on your weaknesses. All right. You will do better and go further in life focusing on your strengths. If you had to pick between your strengths and weaknesses, focus on the strengths. Point number 2. Today's topic is, what are you allowing yourself to tolerate? What are you accepting continuously in your life? When it comes to people now, we talked about activity, let's talk about people. I was on a group coaching call recently when someone vented that they were having a problem with one of their staff members. This is a bunch of business operators and business owners. And the person said they were having a problem with one of their staff members, and this staff member is doing this and that. And they went into a little bit of detail what the staff member is doing and how they started out good, and now they're starting to offer problems, and they're doing this thing and they're doing that thing, they're doing these things wrong. And someone chimed in the conversation and said, let me remind you, the person who was, I can't even remember who it was that said what, but someone chimed in to this person who had just vented about their staff member and said, oh, remember that you own the business, right? You remember that you're the person in charge and you're the one who gets to call the shots in your business. You remember that, right? You are the person who can make things exactly how you want them, which means what they were reminding this venting individual of was that you do not have to tolerate a person in your company who's not on board with the way that you want things run. You don't have to tolerate a person not doing what you want them to do when you're the person in charge. Now, if you're the manager at a company, you're a middle management, and one of your subordinates is kind of a jerk and they're not doing what you need them to do, you might have to eat that, or you might have to deal with that just because that's the way that it's going to be, and you're not in control of who works there and who doesn't work there. But if you're the boss, if you're the CEO, if you're running things, you own the whole situation. All right, you don't have to tolerate anything that you don't want to. You make things exactly how you want them to be. Now, I already stepped out of the example. The person only gave that one sentence, that you're the one in charge, you own the business, you can do whatever you want. But often in life, and I'm talking to everybody now who's listening, often in life we grow accustomed to tolerating people that we know are not exactly what we want, but they aren't so bad of a person that we feel like we have to get rid of them immediately. So thus, what happens is we grow complacent with mediocrity in our associations. I'm pausing to let that one sink in. We grow accustomed to tolerating people that are not ideal for us. They're not really bringing us any value, but they're not so terrible that we're like, man, I really got to get rid of this individual. So we grow complacent, allowing mediocre associations in our lives. But let me tell you a truth that you should burn into your brain. If you want to advance yourself in life via the law of association, amongst other things, the law of association is one thing that will help you advance in life. You must stop tolerating people who are not up to the standard that you want and need for yourself. Again, I'm pausing to let that one sink in because I know 100% that there are people listening to me right now during that little pause there, that there's somebody who popped into your mind that you maybe, definitely, need to get rid of. You need to eliminate them from your life. Maybe right now they're a 2-day person. You need to downgrade them to a 2-hour person. Maybe you got some 2-hour people need to downgrade to a 2-minute person. Maybe you got some 2-day people need to jump a step and go all the way down to the beginning, back to a 2-minute person. Maybe you got some people who are 2-day people. You need to just make them no time people. Everybody don't have to be a 2-minute person. You know, some people you just need to get rid of completely. Like completely eliminate them from your existence. Don't kill them, but just eliminate them from your existence so where they can't come around anymore. That's a truth in your life. The law of association is a real thing, and understand that the law of association is a law. It is not a theory. It is not a suggestion. It is not an opinion. It is a law. All right. Do not break the law. Now, you break the rules. Don't break the law. The law of association says you become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Doesn't matter how many it is. 5 people, 2 people, 20 people, 1 person. It is a law. So if you got people around you who are not the ideal type of individual, you are breaking the law if you don't do anything about it. Now, you know what happens to people who break the law? You know, right? Let's move on to point number 3. Today's topic is, what are you allowing yourself to tolerate consistently in your life? Are there things that are helping you, or are they making you worse? They're doing one or the other. Point number 3, Understand that you absolutely can. Yes, C-A-N. Yes, you can have life set up the way that you want life to be set up. But you must, in order to achieve that, you must be willing to stop tolerating things that do not fit into the picture of what you want. All right, you need both. You can have things how you want, but you must be willing to not tolerate, no longer tolerate the things that don't fit the picture of what you're looking for. So in order to enact everything that I just said, first of all, you need to have a picture of what you want. What do you want in your life? If you don't know what you want, there's no way you can eliminate the things that you don't want because you have no idea what to get rid of and what to keep. I once heard the story of a sculptor who took a big block of stone and they carved it away. You know how they take the what do they call it? The axe and the pickaxe. And they just start chipping away at this stone until they had this beautiful sculpture. And someone came around and looked at the sculpture standing next to the sculptor and said to the sculptor, how were you able to carve such a beautiful sculpture out of this big piece of stone? And the person said, I just imagined exactly what I wanted to look at, and then I just chipped away everything that was not part of it. So I saw this beautiful sculpture when it was just a big block, and all I did was just get rid of everything that didn't fit the picture that I already had in my mind. And that's exactly the way that you can design the life that you want. First of all, you need to know exactly what it looks like. You need to know where you're trying to get to. Know what your goal is. Know what your outcome is. When you're clear on what the outcome is, it's easy to get rid of everything else because you're like, okay, is this part of the outcome? No, gone. This part of the outcome? Yes, you get the step. Is this part of the outcome? Not exactly, but if we make a little adjustment, it can be, so then you make the adjustment. This is the way that you can design the life that you want. But first of all, you got to know what the hell is the life that you want. You don't know what that is, then you can't design anything. You can't chip anything away because you don't know what to throw away and what to keep. You got to stop tolerating things that don't fit the picture of what you want. But without a picture, then you can't even use that framework. You can't even use this strategy. Life is not designed, folks, to be a never-ending struggle. Life is not supposed to be a never-ending struggle against people. It's not supposed to be a never-ending struggle of activity. It's not supposed to be a never-ending struggle against yourself in your own mind. Now, while you may have periods of hard hustle, understand that your whole life is not supposed to be a whole life of struggle and strife and hard hustle. It's not supposed to be like that. So if your life is like that right now, let me let you know that's not the way that it needs to stay. That is not what you are destined to be. You are not just designated to that for the rest of your life just because. I don't know where you may have read that. Maybe you have just conditioned yourself to accept it. That is not the way that it is supposed to be set up. So if it is like that right now, I understand. Listen, sometimes we gotta hustle, all right? Sometimes we gotta go through some grinding periods, okay? I'm not telling you that you're wrong if you're in a period of grinding right now, but ask yourself this question. If you made a list of all the things that you wanted, all right, if you could wave a magic wand and have all the things that you wanted in your life right now, what would you get rid of? What is in your life right now that you would completely eliminate if you could wave a magic wand and get rid of it with no repercussions? It's just gone. You no longer had to deal with it, them, they, that, whatever it is, you could just get rid of it. What would you get rid of? Now, I need you to start making a list. All right, you have an answer. I know you got answers to that question I just gave you, right? Now, I need you to start making a list. Make it a digital list because this is a flexible list that will be changing over time. There are going to be some items that you can cross off once they're gone, or you can delete them. And there are going to be other items that you add once you have more time to think about this. So if you really think about this all day today or all day tomorrow, if you're listening to this at night, what in your life do you need to eliminate? That's the list I want you to start making. What do you need to eliminate? If you run a company and you have some staff members that you need to eliminate, but you can't fire them just yet because you haven't hired their replacement, write it down. Write down the people you need to get rid of in your life. Write down the situations you need to get rid of. Write down the constant ideas and thoughts and energies that you need to get rid of. Write down the activities that you keep doing, like eating chocolate or staying up watching Netflix when you should be sleeping that cause you to be tired the next day. Write down all the things in your life that if you could wave a magic wand and just get rid of them that fast, they would be gone. Write them all down. You need to know all the pieces of that big block of marble that need to be chipped away. All right, you need to know what they are. If you don't know what they are, you can't do anything about it. A lot of times in life, we don't get the things that we want because of our lack of awareness. Our lack of awareness of what we want and our lack of awareness of what we need to eliminate and get rid of. What we no longer want to be tolerating, but we continue to tolerate because we have not identified them as things that need to be deleted. Then, once you have that list, now you have a plan. Now you can start working on eliminating these things. How do I get rid of this person? How do I get rid of this idea? How do I get rid of this bad habit? This is what we call addition by subtraction, which everyone's heard of. And it will show you that you don't need more in life, you probably need less. Look at that list of all the things you need to get rid of in your life, the things you need to stop tolerating. Let me ask you a question. If you got rid of just those things, you didn't add anything, you just got rid of all those things, how much better would your life be? If you just got rid of all the things on your delete list, everything, you got rid of everything on your eliminate list, how much better would life be right now? Not next week, but right now if all those things were just deleted. Your life would be immediately better, that fast. All you did was get rid of stuff that you didn't want anymore. Imagine that. You don't need to add anything. All right, this is addition by subtraction. It works for everybody. Try it, I guarantee you it'll work. Make that list. Let's recap the class today, which is what are you allowing yourself to tolerate? I told you in masterclass number 1253 that in order to advance, you might need less and not more, because a lot of people default to doing more when they're trying to get better. But as I told you, a business expert told me, the $100 million CEO does not tolerate what the $10 million CEO tolerates, and the $10 million CEO does not tolerate what the $1 million CEO tolerates, and the $1 million CEO does not tolerate what the $1 CEO tolerates. So today's conversation is about what you are allowing to exist in your life, and how allowing less is actually how you advance. Number one, the best business creators that we know of set themselves up to do only what they are great at. They are not doing everything. See masterclass number 1481 and 1473 on eliminating noise from your life. The things that you are not great at are the things that you should not be doing. Even though you may be doing them now, you should be strategizing to not be doing them. Even if it's going to take you some time to figure that out, you should be strategizing to get rid of those things because you're not great at them. Only do what you're great at. Focus your energy at the strongest point. It's called concentrating your forces. Point number two. I was on a group coaching call when someone was venting about one of the problem employees in their business, and somebody said to them, hey, remember that you own the business. You do not have to allow them to keep working there if you don't want them there. You set things up the way that you want them to be. Often in life, we grow accustomed with tolerating people that we know aren't exactly what we want, but they're not so terrible that we feel like we have to get rid of them like an emergency. Then we grow complacent with mediocrity. Do not grow complacent with mediocre in your life. If you want to advance via the law of association, you must stop tolerating people who are not up to the right standards. Point number three. You absolutely can have life set up the way you want it to be, but you also have to be willing to stop tolerating things that do not fit into the picture of what you want. Life is not designed to be a constant, never-ending struggle. You may have periods of hard hustle, but it's not supposed to be your whole life that way. So make a list. What do you want to get rid of? If you could wave a magic wand, just eliminate it, how much better would your life be just by the process of elimination, no addition whatsoever? I guarantee it'll be a lot better, but you got to make the list, and then you got to go to work on it. We're going to talk about that very soon, maybe tomorrow. Work on your game. Dre all day.